Okay, let's talk about HTML documents and web pages. Actually, let's look at them. This is an HTML document. HTML documents are documents that are written in a text editor. They have text that follows a lot of special rules. And over here we have a web page. And you can probably tell that these are not unconnected from each other. For instance, right here, you notice in the body, we have some text and a dot, and we have that showing over here in the page. Also up here in between these title things, well, we'll talk about what those are in a minute, but we have this text, a first page, and you can see that that text is the title that appears on the tab right there. So there's got to be some connection between this and this. There is. Let's make that connection a little more firm by showing you what happens here. Let's take some text here in the body, and let's call this my first page. And now I'm going to save this. On my text editor, this goes to black if it's not been changed. It goes to red if there are changes that haven't been saved. And over here, now let's reload. And here we go. Some text here in the body. You notice how this change was reflected there. And my first page, that's changed up there. What happens is this. We write HTML documents. That's how we define web pages. And what happens is an HTML5 document gets fed into a web browser. The browser renders the web page, a process called rendering, that creates this beautiful, lovely web page over here from all of this text. Except ours isn't really beautiful or lovely because it's very sparse, but you know, we're starting. We'll do more as we go along. But that's the basic idea. Start with an HTML document, run it through the web browser renders the web page based on the information in this document and displays the web page for you to see. So that being said, let's come and take a closer look then at this HTML document and what this means and what we do with this. First of all, let's talk about tags, because that's a very basic concept. Anything that starts with a less than sign and ends with a greater than sign is called a tag. So this is a tag. This is a tag. This is a tag. This is a tag, and you get the idea, right? We have a tag here, and we have a tag here. We have a tag here. Tag, tag, and tag. So you can identify tags now. Tags are very important. They're kind of the foundation of HTML5, the language that we use to create web pages. Now, there are kind of two different kinds of tags. If you look at this tag kind of stands alone. We call that a singleton tag. But you notice that a lot of these other tags seem to come in pairs. There's head, and then here we have another tag, and it has a / and head. Here we have title, and here we have / title, and you can find others like that as well. These are called paired tags. The first one that appears is called the opening tag, and the other is called the closing tag. And so the opening tag just has a name. You can tell the closing tag because it has the / before the name of the tag. And so these go together. This connects with this, and it's going to create something called an element that we'll talk about later with everything in between. So let's look. We have a singleton tag here, and we have a singleton tag up here, but the rest of these tags are in pairs. There's the HTML tag, there's the close HTML tag, there's the open head tag, close head tag, and so on. So we have paired tags and singleton tags. Now you notice that a few of these tags have some extra information in here. We call these attributes. So this is the lang attribute of the HTML tag. This is the char set attribute of the meta tag. if we, in a singleton tag, of course, the attribute just goes in, and actually the stuff I ought to mention, the stuff that comes after the equal sign we call the value. So this is the lang tag, and its value is en. This is the char set tag, and its value is UTF-8. Okay, so we have attributes, we have tags, we've got some of the terminology down. Let's go ahead and walk through and see kind of what's going on in this whole thing. Let's start here. This tells the browser that this particular document is written in the format that's called HTML5. So HTML5 is a special language. You can think of it as kind of formatting rules if you want to, but it's a special language that describes how you write these HTML5 documents so that they'll display in the browser. So this tells the browser you're getting HTML5. We have to do that because there are other languages that we can use that will also produce stuff in the browser. So we're specifying HTML5. Next, this opens the actual HTML part of the document. This attribute indicates that this particular document is meant to be read in English. So we're not going to be primarily having French or Russian or Mandarin or anything like that. It's going to be in English. That's what this does. That should always be in there. You should always indicate what language it's meant for. The head part of the document is where we put information about styling. It's where we put information, that's where we'll put our JavaScript. It's kind of information about the page, but it doesn't provide the elements that will actually be on the page. So the first part of the head always has to be this, always use this, meta char set UTF-8. What happens is that this information gets fed into the browser in units of zeros and ones, and the browser needs to know how to interpret those zeros and ones, and that's what this UTF-8 tells it. The title also goes up in the head, and then the body, which we have here, is what tells us what's going to appear on this part of the page. And right now all we have is some text, and then this here closes the whole HTML part of the document. So, excuse me, that's what these different parts do. I ought to mention two other things. One, you should only have one head in a document and one body. Don't have multiple heads and multiple bodies. Okay, one head, one body. Second, normally we don't put raw text in the body the way I've done here, but for a simple page, it's a good way to show you how they work. And so now you are able to create very simple web pages, and we'll teach you how to make them more sophisticated in the next video.